still more Riley Straying questions than answers. So let's see what his family and his godfather have got to say.
Joining us now is Riley Straying's father, Ryan Gilbert, joined by family friend Chris Dingman, and also joining us is private investigator Steve Fisher. Ryan, I just got to start with you. I can't imagine what you and your family are going through. How are you guys holding up?
We're doing the best we can. We're still focused on trying to find some answers, and that's the direction we're continuing right now. But we're holding up.
What specifically do you still need answers about? Obviously, we don't know how he wound up in the river. Are you convinced, or do you suspect, or do you worry that foul play was somehow involved, even though Nashville police have ruled it out?
Of course, we worry about it. We're waiting for the results to come back in, so hopefully that'll give us some answers. Everything we've got back so far has done nothing but produce more questions for us. So we're going to take what we can get and see if it doesn't answer some things for us. Hopefully it will.
I know that you've been told that often when people fall into a river, they can lose parts of.
Every time I see that where he walks past that policeman, oh my God, don't you just want to grab hold of him? Grab hold of him. I bet his mum's watched that a few times. I'd be just watching it over and over again and wishing that you could change what happened, because whatever happened was probably very shortly after that.
To their clothes or their shoes even, but you have maintained that he was wearing a belt that night, and it doesn't make sense because you maintain the belt would have kept his pants on. Is that because he wore it tightly?
I would say that being the way he was built, I'm similar build, and if I forget my belt, I go back and get it. I mean, I can't go without a belt, so I'd say he probably had it cinched up and had it on that night.
Chris, the last time you were on this show just a few nights ago, and you said you were waiting for these toxicology results. Still waiting tonight?
Unfortunately, we are. We've been told it can take anywhere from 6 weeks to 12 weeks. And
oh my God, 6 to 12 weeks for the toxicology results. It's just torture, isn't it? Because they want to know what's in his system. Was he spiked? Because the bar that he came out of insists that they only served him 1 alcoholic drink and 2 waters. So it makes you wonder, was he spiked?
Some have had to wait 90 plus days. Unfortunately, we have no control over that, but I think there'll be a lot of pieces of the puzzle that do show up with those toxicology reports. But in the meantime, there's definitely a group of people we would still love to possibly contact. That's in a couple of those last videos, just so we can find out more answers.
What answers, what people in particular are you looking to talk to?
There was a group of people that were on scooters that evening that's over by the detention center, which doesn't show Riley, but it was the first video where Riley would have been if he would have kept moving forward. There was people standing by cars. When the police body cam turns around, you can actually see him looking back towards where Riley was walking. And there was a door open and some people standing outside there. Just a lot of people.
Yeah.
It was at 10 o'clock at night, so it wasn't like 2 a.m. And that actually was a very happening spot due to the footage we have been released.
Yeah, I imagine so. And also, apparently, according to the couple who saw him and said, "Whoa, you're not driving, are you?" And he laughed and said, "No, I can't even walk straight." They said he was on speakerphone with his fraternity brothers who were telling him to just keep walking or something like that. Have you been able to talk to the fraternity brothers, either of you, to get any information about were they trying to direct him back to the hotel?
No, we haven't spoke with them. We haven't really heard that much from them. They're the ones that was with Riley that night, the last night.
That's odd, isn't it? How come they've not had any contact with those fraternity brothers? And this is pure speculation. I wouldn't be surprised if they spiked him because, young lads do stupid things like that. Even to their own, friends and stuff. Young lads, honestly, sometimes they are just fools, aren't they? They just do. It's just one of those things. I'm not criticizing them. Young people do things, don't see consequences of things. So it seems very strange to me that they've not spoken to those frat brothers that were actually with him that night. You know, that they're not. Why is that? Because, you know, you'd think that they'd want to speak to the parents. They'd want to help the parents. God, why have they not spoken to them?
He was with us. So, you know, there's a lot of things we'd like to find out from them. Since
Wait a minute, you haven't talked to them? They haven't made any effort to reach out to you?
No, not really, no.
Wow. I got to be honest, I'm a little surprised by that, because obviously the very first night I heard about this story, the first thing I did was tell my two sons, who are about the same age as Riley, a few years younger. And I said, if you're ever out with a friend and one of your friends gets too drunk, you don't leave that kid alone.
Yeah.
You go with him and make sure he gets home safely.
Absolutely. If I was in their situation, I'd be beating down those parents' doors to tell them everything I could and be helpful in any way that I could. Absolutely.
Thanks so much for watching. Go to joinnn.com to.
Yeah, personally, I think there's a lot more to come out about this story, about their I think those young lads that he was with, you know, might have more information. And then watching that, I've always thought that right from the beginning. I thought if anybody spiked him, it could well be the people he was with, because young people do stupid things. And now hearing that he was actually on the phone, on speakerphone to his friends, why have they not reached out to the family? You know, but anyway, there's a lot more to come out here, I think. A lot more to come out here. Yeah, Charlie, that he was kicked out of the bar because he couldn't stand up straight or whatever. But the bar insists they actually only served him 2 waters and 1 alcoholic drink. So the question is, how did he get in such a state? You know, but we don't know where he went before. Thing is, if there's no investigation, if the police aren't investigating, there are suspicious circumstances, whatever they say, even if Riley was not actually, even if it wasn't murder or even manslaughter, there's something gone on that night, you know, and the family, obviously, they want to know exactly what had happened. If that was my son, I would want to know all the answers. And the people I would want to talk to the most, to be honest, were the people he was out with that night, who could say exactly how much did he have to drink, did he take any drugs? You know, they're the ones that can give those answers. I find it, like that reporter, I find it very, very strange that they have not been in contact with the family. Anyway, so that's all really we know about Riley. So toxicology reports could be 12 or even more weeks. So there's a lot, you know, we are going to find out more